Lang reached the center of the parking lot, only 200 yards from the neighboring high-rise, a sealed rectilinear planet whose glassy face he could now see clearly. Almost all the new tenants had moved into their apartments, duplicating to the last curtain fabric and dishwasher those in his own block. But this building seemed remote and threatening. Looking up at the endless tiers of balconies, he felt uneasily like a visitor to a malevolent zoo, where terraces of vertically mounted cages contained creatures of random and ferocious cruelty. A few people leaned on their railings and watched Lang without expression, and he had a sudden image of the 2,000 residents springing to their balconies and hurling down at him anything to hand, inundating Lang beneath a pyramid of wine bottles and ashtrays, deodorant aerosols, and contraceptive wallets. Lang reached his car and leant against the window pillar. He knew that he was testing himself against the excitements of the world outside, exposing himself to its hidden dangers. For all its present conflict, the high-rise represented safety and security. Feeling the warm cellulose of the window pillar against his shoulder, Lang remembered the stale air in his apartment, tepid with the smell of his own body. By comparison, the brilliant light reflected off the chromium trim of the hundreds of cars filled the air with knives. He turned away from his car and walked along the parking lane that ran parallel to the building. He was not ready yet to venture into the open air, face his colleagues at the medical school, catch up with the lost student supervisions. Perhaps he would stay at home that afternoon and prepare his notes for his next lecture. He reached the edge of the ornamental lake, a graceful oval 200 yards in length, and stepped down onto the concrete floor. Following his shadow, he walked along the gently sloping lake bed. Within a few minutes, he was standing in the center of the empty lake. The damp concrete, like the surface of an enormous mold, curved away on all sides, smooth and bland, but in some way as menacing as the contours of some deep reductive psychosis. The absence of any kind of rigid rectilinear structure summed up for Lang all the hazards of the world beyond the high-rise. Unable to stay there any longer, he turned and strode swiftly towards the shore, climbed the bank, and ran towards the apartment building between the dusty cars.